this team can work amazingly well for your battles in Fossil Cup, and I think that with Alola Sandslash up on the lead, you have nothing to worry about other than the fighters and perhaps something like a fire type Pokemon or a pseudo fire on the face of Mobile. And with that in mind, we have a backline which can definitely handle that weakness. One is the Swampert, one is Pelipper, so those two in combination will form a solid bodyguard backline for our Alola Sandslash. Over here I will reach to double Ice Punch just in case they take it so that I can have one extra for the next Pokemon, but of course they want to shield up and that is also gonna work towards my advantage. Hurricane on my Pelipper, I was not expecting this, but anyways now they are gonna return into the battle with the Registeel. You know what, we're having the upper hand here with our Swampert, and of course we can bring them to no HP with the following matchups. What I want to do here is to go ahead and completely farm down while I will just shield twice in the process, and of course as you are gonna see they will return into the battle now with that Registeel. I'm pretty sure that those Locons haven't been matched up against me, so we can definitely go with back-to-back Earthquake before they reach to a Focus Blast, and with that in mind we're gonna land the first one because that was their only win condition, and we're gonna get this first win for this video. Into the next one now, and we're having the Weather Ball from our side against this Lucario for massive damage as it seems. I will let the Shadow Ball go through because I might have mediocre IVs, but we can still rely on them. This is gonna be an extremely close battle that Pelipper can definitely pull off on the zero shield scenario, and that will leave them almost no room at all to farm down, only one spark worth of energy for that Lantern. And now with that in mind, we're having the return of the Alola Sandslash, able to pressure a lot with those moves, expecting the switch immediately right after to the second fighter, because this is a very common line with Lantern up in front, aggressively switching into the Lucario so that a Scavalier can return as the main closer, and this is a line that I might actually try out since it is super popular and it might be for a reason. So anyways, this team can still handle this popular team, and you're gonna see that in no time we're gonna be able to pressure even more with those Hydro Cannons. I went for the risky bait here, and to be honest I was expecting the shield but they didn't, so well played to my opponent, but still we have back-to-back Hydro Cannons for this poor Lantern, and that's gonna put an end to this weird Pokemon. Now into the next one, and we're facing an opponent with an Escavalier up in front, so horrible lead scenario, nightmare lead scenario actually, because we have to switch out to our Swampert and we're having a nightmare switch in as well on the face of Pelipper. This Pokemon can just barely handle the damage of two of those Hydro Cannons, but can totally work towards their advantage. However, as I have already said, it is gonna be barely enough, which means that a few matchups later we might be on a very good spot by completely farming down. I'm gonna sacrifice two shields here because I definitely want that Escavalier out of my Sandslash's way, and with Pelipper now aligned with Escavalier, perhaps we can have a better closing scenario against their third Pokemon, but it really needs to be seen, that third Pokemon. I cannot rely on whatever they have at the back. Let's see together, since we're getting to another pair of Hydro Cannons for that poor Escavalier. Now they're gonna switch out and it is gonna be the Lantern, so the battle is not over yet. If they want to, they can still finish me off right on time. So here comes the Thunderbolt, big damage on my Sandslash, and hopefully we can reach at least to a Drill Run to put them at a miserable position. I'm pretty sure they will get to the next serve before I reach my Drill Run, because they can always outspeed me to those serves, and of course now all I have to do is to overfarm as much as I can and then complete the finish off with a Weather Ball. At the back they also have that Escavalier returning for the final time, and they get to the Drill Runs. Here comes the second one. We can definitely survive this, while a Hurricane will just seal the deal up against this Pokemon. Perhaps they did not have Mega Horn, perhaps they had Acid Spray or Aerial Ace. I'm not sure. If they had Aerial Ace they could go for it, but they went for the Drill Run and we're gonna take advantage of that, and that is gonna be a great game. Into the next one now, getting a positive lead against a Ghost type Pokemon on the face of Jellicent, which is also pretty nice for the Alola Sandslash, since we are gonna be kinda weak at the back to that Jellicent option. So anyways, able to finish off this Berserker. Most of the times I'm gonna shield my Swampert here, and I'm totally gonna get a lot of great time out of this Swampy. So right here I will bait for that shield, and as it seems I might be able to reach the next Earthquake. However, I cannot, and that is gonna be a bummer. So it all depends on what they have at the back, and it is gonna be a fighting type Pokemon on the face of this Lucario. So we can definitely pressure here with those weather balls, and they were over farming, so that made me think, are they trying to bait here? And yeah, they did exactly that. So at this point we have read our opponent correctly, and we're just gonna keep going at it with our Pelipper. Not gonna shield anything, even if that is gonna be a Shadow Ball, I'm just gonna let that go through, and I'm pretty sure that even if that's gonna be another pop, we can definitely survive and still reach to the knockout move with the Weather Ball. Immediately switching out now to my Sandslash, and of course this is gonna deliver the lethal blow on the Jellicent. Even though they're getting out of the battle, I think that they stand in no chance at all, since we had the shield up, and of course the Shadow Claws will connect eventually for super effective damage, and that's gonna connect to an amazing win overall. Into the next one now, another Escavalier, another day at GPL, getting hard counter, both on the lead, both on the switch. How can we possibly win this entire team? So we're just gonna stay in with our Swampert here, and of course we're gonna not have the upper hand, but eventually we just might, because like we saw before, we're just gonna double shield our Swampy, since we definitely want to avoid that Escavalier with our Sandslash. So using unique teams against very popular teams is gonna work towards your advantage, so take advantage of my channel over here, because I'm providing a lot of helpful and entertaining content. So in the process we're gonna fall down to this Pelipper with the final Weather Ball, but now my Pelipper can definitely go in. I will not try to tank one Hurricane on my Sandslash, instead I will stay in and take that Hurricane into my Pelipper, and of course right here they have at the back a Toxapex, so all of a sudden we have Wincon, Nightmare lead, Nightmare switch, but still we can somehow pull this off. But the battle is definitely not over yet. Just keep in mind that I have at least one Weather Ball ready on my Pelipper. Perhaps we're gonna need it on the ending of this battle, because as it seems everything's gonna get extremely close over here. So we're having now the Drill Run for the second time to finish off this Toxapex, after we overfarm a lot, because we know that the counter damage can be kind of absurd. Gonna press immediately this Drill Run as soon as I see the typing on the upper right corner, and right after gonna switch out to my Weather Ball and the Pelipper to finish them off. Pelipper of their own returns into the battle, and that is gonna be an extremely close victory for my team, with Shadow Sandslash, actually Alolan Sandslash, not Shadow at all, returning for the final time and the third time into the battle to finish them off. Into the next one now, we're having kind of a good lead here, and of course on the switch we're gonna be met up with an Escavalier. So you know what, that even against this Megahorn version of Escavalier we can still pressure for those shields, and I'm pretty glad that we can do it, because now they have 0 shields. But of course you saw before that even though we had 0 shields, we still had a lot of options up against our opponents. So what they can do here is to go for the double Drill Run for sure to finish me off, but of course they are gonna sacrifice the whole HP out of Escavalier in the amazing worth that our Matshots are gonna gain in energy. Seeing the Ferrothorn coming in makes me think that the Earthquake will just connect for big damage here, and I want to protect my final Hydro Cannon and bank it for the end game. So with that in mind here, we're just gonna switch out to our Sandslash, immediately one-shotting down that poor Lucario, and because they're getting super low here, I will just finish them off with the remaining energy that I have left on my energy tank, and Hydro Cannon will take advantage of the tank to finish them off with style. Into the final one, trainers against the Mirror Battle, but they have a Shadow version, which means that if we hit them or hit us with a Drill Run, we're just gonna get destroyed down. So for this battle, I always decide to go for the Ice Punch bait, and I say always because right now I'm gonna do it. At the start I wasn't doing it at all. I was just gonna go straight for the Drill Run. They are gonna shield anyways, and of course if they bait they can have the upper hand. So I decided from a point and going forward to go for the bait always. That's why I'm showcasing this battle. Most of the times I do not showcase mirror battles, but this is a perfect example, and now we can all of a sudden have the upper hand, especially when we have 0 in attack. So right here we're just gonna go ahead and spam those Weather Balls to finish off Golisopod right on time. I know what you might be thinking, Ganeto, you should have let them farm you down, but still I did not want to risk it at all. I want to have the perfect alignment, and as it seems we can do exactly that, because at the back back they have the Jellicent. So double bait, this time the second Ice Punch on that poor Sandslash to shield that move up, and even though they're Shadow, I'm pretty sure I can survive one Ice Punch if they go for it, and there is no reason not to go for the Ice Punch. So I'm just gonna let the first one go through, and right after I will commit no matter what to the farm down. Doing so, we can definitely get to the Earthquake on the Jellicent as soon as it returns to the battle, and that is gonna wrap things up for this battle, and of course it will wrap things up for today's content. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, and perhaps consider subscribing, who knows, to my channel if you enjoy my content. And also, with that said, once again, just be sure to check one of these two videos that I have prepared for you so that you can continue the Kanetto journey here on YouTube. Also, with that said, for the third time today, I hope to see you all into the next one. So everyone, stay safe and have a big smile in your Go Battle League battles.